Good evening, folks. It's Chuck McKay here, your assistant superintendent. I just wanted to touch base with everyone and make sure everyone's doing well in Vernon. As you know, we're dealing with all sorts of concerns about our citizens, and we want to make sure that you know all the great things that are happening during the school week and what's coming up this coming week. If you haven't heard already, a pencil video was put out by our high school teachers. Thanks, Lindsay, for all your effort on that. Parents, you certainly want to see that. There have been some great videos this past week that have gone out. One of them from the high school students themselves, which was breathtakingly beautiful, and also one from our teachers. We had a couple of videos as well go out from this corner, and also Miss Davino has been reading to the students at night bedtime stories. So there's a lot coming out, and we hope that all of you have seen some of those videos. I want to wish everybody a happy Palm Sunday. I'm sure for our Christian friends, this was not the best of Palm Sundays, considering we can't even get together at churches. I also want to wish our Jewish friends a happy Passover, which begins on Wednesday. And I want everybody to know that we're thinking of you as your families go through these new trials and tribulations and new experiences. So, all right. Family reading. Look at this wonderful shot of mom and dad with their child. It is part of all that's going on this week in Vernon. We have Khajiits, and the Khajiits are hotspots for our students who do not have Wi-Fi. So there are families that we know about that do not have Wi-Fi, and we're going to take care of them. Thanks to Matt Shea, who has been busy trying to get these. These are a very hot commodity. But we wanted to make sure that you knew that families who asked for these, which is a few, only a few, they will be getting them in the next couple of days. Matt is configuring them, and we hope to get them out tomorrow, even if we have to drive them to our folks' houses. One of the CTE programs that we have at the high school is Construction Facilities and Maintenance, which we call CFM. And one of the great things that happened this week was 2 or 3 of our CFM young men sent a video to their teacher, Mr. Demsek, about projects that they're doing at home. Now, these are major construction projects. So this video here is a young man making sure that he's checking on the wiring and then doing the sheetrock work in his basement. I believe that that's Logan. I want to congratulate him on this hard work. And then this amazing video, and it takes a little while to come up, but this one is about a kitchen project that is happening in Vernon as well. Let's see if this one will come up. Yeah, and this is a major kitchen project that one of our CFM kids is working with his dad and making sure that this happens. And you can see the top where they've already put the cabinets in, and then in the bottom how they're getting the painting done. I can't tell you how proud Mr. Demsek is of his construction guys and the fact that they're doing real work during this time away from school. Learning with mom. This is a wonderful picture of mom and her 2 children, making sure that all of their work is done. Again, we cannot thank our parents enough for all the great work that they're doing as we work together with our teachers in order to make sure our children are getting a first-rate education now that we're in the 4th marking period and moving forward. And then volcanoes with dad. This is a wonderful shot. This young lady, I was sent 4 or 5 pictures of the volcano before and then as it's about to erupt, but I thought the shot where the eruption happened was the best one. So congratulations to all of you. And a couple of things. Mr. Joseph has done a Lego challenge in which he asked the students to design Lego scenes. And of course, this scene is taking care of things while the coronavirus is happening, making sure that things get washed and cleaned. And of course, here's a young lady with her headphones and her Chromebook giving us a double thumbs up as she does her schoolwork. Again, children, we are so proud of all the work that you're doing. We realize it's difficult, parents, to do all this from home. But again, your teachers are behind you. The administration is with you. And we hope that everyone is doing well as we head into the 4th week. There was an Apple lesson going on with one of our students, with a whole class of our students. And of course, reading. We have been doing a lot of reading. We've got a couple of book clubs going on in Glen Meadow with Mrs. Yost. She's ripping through books so fast. I'm struggling to keep up. But there's other book clubs going on in Lounsbury Hollow with Miss Smaldone and other places as well. Miss Windsor has posted things online for our students to have. And of course, the students are doing lots and lots of reading. This next slide is very interesting. It might be difficult to see from home, but what Mr. Miller did was he surveyed students that he had in the high school classes about what they thought of the amount of work that they've been given overall in the third and fourth marking period. And the survey happened on 3/20 and then again on 3/27. He wanted to know how the students felt about the work that was being given weekly in his class versus in other places. So the students are feeling, have mixed emotions about the amount of work. It seems that most think it's either enough, just right, or possibly just a little bit too much. We want to make sure that our students are, again, surveyed. So I thank Mr. Miller for all of his efforts on this. I think it's a very, very interesting discussion. We had dancing at home. All of our students were doing a dance for their teacher, for their phys ed teacher, and of course also creating art at home. So I thought it was very important to show some of these wonderful pictures. Mrs. Barone is a kindergarten teacher, and what she did was she put together a slideshow, and it was fascinating. It was 19 slides in it. Each one looked like this, but each one had a separate message. And what she asked her students to do is to report out to her, and I think she made the slides, or she had moms and dads help making the slides. And she asked her students to thank people who are on the front line, people who are working in hospitals like doctors and nurses and tech people, people who are in police forces or fire departments, people who are taking care of other people as the coronavirus comes through communities that affect their students. I was very taken with the wonderful letters that Mrs. Barone compiled in this slideshow, and I think she sent it out to the parents. What I thought was very interesting was how many of our kindergarten students are connected with people who would be considered first responders as this COVID crisis goes on, whether their moms or dads were nurses or doctors, police officers, firemen, EMT people, and also aunts and uncles. So this one, of course, was from Aunt Kimmy, working at a grocery store to allow people to buy food, but also thank the nurses and the doctors, and flattening the curve, the language we learn, and the history that we're part of. So anyway, congratulations to Mrs. Brown. It's a wonderful project. For those of you that are watching the news and you see people clapping and banging pots and cheering for our nurses and doctors as they go into the hospitals for their shifts, you know what the meaning behind all of this is, which is the idea that we have heroes amongst us. Okay, learning with our teacher. It looks like Mrs. Lynch is working with her student who has his headphone on and his Chromebook. No better picture than that. And of course, learning with humans, with grandma, and the idea of the apple lesson as well. And of course, the joy that we see as parents and grandparents kick in to help out as we go forward. And again, to our parents and our grandparents and our families that are helping us as we educate our children, thank you. Miss Davino with her daughter Katie. And of course, this was one of the evening broadcasts where Miss Davino is talking to the students and also reading a nighttime story to them. A wonderful, wonderful opportunity for you to connect with your superintendent, who is doing a beautiful job of making sure children go to bed feeling good. One of the things that we're really trying to do is get the students to read independently during this break, if there's a possibility and they can find time. And of course, Adina Luther sent us these pictures of her daughter and son reading to the new baby. Hey, find anybody you can read to, even if they fall asleep while you're reading to them. The idea of sharing reading is a great one during this time that we're away from each other. Kaylon's and Evan's work. There's word work going on in our language arts classes, and I wanted to show some of these beautiful things because it's important to show how hard our students are working. Reading everywhere we can get our hands on, anything we can get our hands on. And that's our hands on. I should have made a correction there. Our young ladies are reading and part of a book club. They're also reading graphic novels and making sure that they're doing lots of reading. One of our teachers is basically keeping track of all of this. And I love this. This is Myles and Dylan's work. And what it is how many minutes a day that they're reading on top of all that is going on with their schoolwork. So as you can see, Myles had a week in which he had 475 minutes of reading. And it looks like Dylan had something close to that as well. Congratulations to all of our students as they're reading and making sure that they're learning on their own as they go through this time. Mrs. Bruning's fractions, she's in her math class, she's working on fractions. So what she had the students do was use fractions while they're cooking. So fractions and food. So these are some wonderful shots from parents. And again, I know that these children may not be turning on the oven or watching the oven. You're doing all the work there as they do the cooking for Mrs. Bruning. So thanks to the parents and grandparents who are helping out and working as a team with Miss Bruning so that students have some fun with fractions. There's a lot of Vernon Proud signs now out, and I want to talk a little bit to the community right now. As we move into the next couple of weeks, it's clear that our area, the New York, North Jersey area, is being hit harder than almost any place in the United States and the world. So I want you to know that we really care about you. We want to make sure that you are safe. We want to make sure that your family has everything they need. If there's anything we can do in the central office, please give Karen Davino or myself a call. My number is 973-222-3802, and my email is cmckay1@vtsd.com. We want to make sure that all of you are taken care of, whether it's food, whether it's the Chromebooks, whether it's help with assignments, whether it's anything that we can do to make sure our community is taken care of. Our community has spent many years taking care of us, the teaching staff, and everyone that works for the district with their taxes and their generosity. And now it's our turn to make sure that the students are taken care of in coordination with you who are home with them. There are many, many things going on that are very upsetting to all of us. And when you hear the news every night, it's almost unbelievable that we're now part of this historical moment. And maybe it's important when we start to do some of these podcasts and other things that we record all of this. So all of those memories are put in some place very, very near and dear to our heart as we move through this. But we wanted you to know the Vernon education system is very worried and very concerned, and we will be there for your children and for your community. And of course, I finished with these signs on people's doors, the rainbow and people being together and wishing each other peace and Vernon being a great community. So again, much love as we move into this week, Holy Week. And just a reminder that on Good Friday, this Friday, and also on Monday, we will be off. And as we move through Passover, and we move through this season, I wanted everybody to know that we are thinking of you and hope you find peace.